T-S-E-V-E-R, not two B's. I live at 1511 Galisteo here in Santa Fe. I am a teacher. I'm a middle school teacher at Aspen Community School. And I'm here primarily for my students. I'm very concerned about our future generations. And excuse me, I've got allergies. I'm very concerned about their lives, and I'm very concerned about the lives of their children in a state that continuously wants to rely on fossil fuels, which degrades our environment, which cause health concerns, as many communities in New Mexico are already experiencing, both from gas and through nuclear waste. I'm very concerned about this, and I feel that you've heard so much about facts and information, but ultimately I feel like the decision of the commissioners has to do with both the practical, which has been spelled out, I feel very clearly here, the economic benefits of turning to renewables, solar and wind in a state which has so much solar, has so much wind power in it. That just makes sense, it's common sense. But also it's an ethical decision. It's an ethical decision about what we are leaving for our children and for our future generations. The science has been in. I am assuming that everybody in this room does recognize that there is climate change happening, does recognize that we live in an extremely arid state where water is an issue. To even propose more nuclear in a state which suffers from drought, to use nuclear which uses so much water, besides the whole radioactive waste material that it leaves, so I understand, for 250,000 of a year, does not make sense. Does not make sense at all. So I can only think that the decision comes down to an ethical one. It comes down to whether the commissioners are going to support the majority of people in New Mexico, what is best for them, and not for their own individual interests, not for the profits of PNM. That's what it seems to me is what's really at the core here. And this IRP that's been proposed is, as we all know, is relying very much on gas and on nuclear, not on solar, not on wind, not even much of an attempt to do that, which affects people economically and their rates. As I said before, it affects health. It affects the environment, which we depend on for our lives. I'm very concerned about this, as I said, for our children. It's very well and good for us to think about what we want right now, what suits us right now. We need to be thinking about our future generations and what they're going to be left with. So please, I'm asking the commissioners, look at this honestly. Look at this ethically. Please do that. Do what's best for the state of New Mexico and the people of New Mexico, not what's best for the profits of PNM. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Tso, TSO. So.
She's here.
And then who's next on?
Elder Kathy.
Then Elder Kathy Sanders.
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Sanchez?
Sanchez. Sanchez. Good morning.
Good morning.
If you'd spell your last name, please, for the record.
T-S-O.
Very well. Please give your public comment.
Today I'm here on behalf of the Red Nation and also the greater Indigenous community that has been affected by nuclear waste and radioactive waste, and the continuing of this, especially in the state of New Mexico. And as you all know, Indigenous peoples have been dramatically impacted by this. We have people who have high rates of cancer from the radioactive waste that are still lingering in the state, and we don't want any more nuclear waste from Holtec, from Holtec, and we do not want to support this profit making that is, in the interest of PNM. And from my understanding, Jones here has, a conflict of interest when it comes to his relationship with PNM. I believe he makes around $90,000 from it, and so I don't think it's truly representative to the people, the general public. And I stand strongly against, the continuing of these fossil fuels that continue to destroy, the land, the people. And like she was saying, this is for our future generations, and also stuff that has already been happening, through history and through the present day atrocities that Indigenous peoples face on the front lines, because our lands, our communities are first to be impacted. So that's what I mean when I say we are on the front lines. We are the first to experience the impacts of this. And I just want to thank everybody for being here today and speaking out on behalf of our the people of New Mexico. And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for your public comment. To Elder Kathy Sanchez. Good morning.
Good morning.
And it's I believe Aspen, and I can't read the